Hey, this is Jason Hartless from the Ted Nugent Band, and you're listening to the Brutally Delicious Podcast.
Brutally Delicious!
Hey, you're listening to the Brutally Delicious Podcast. I'm Bruce.
And I'm Chris.
Today we've got Jason Hartless, a drummer who's done quite a bunch of stuff, including being on the road right now with Ted Nugent.
Very, very cool. You know, every time we do this intro, I want to go, Dingo and the baby. Dingo, dingo, dingo.
I have no idea what the hell's going on right now.
Haven't you ever seen that Family Guy episode?
No.
Where Brian and Stewie get a radio show? And they start making, they make so much fun of like all the radio bumpers. He's like,
no, I've never
he's
seen
like,
it.
hi, this is Brian, and I'm Stewie, and then Stewie starts hitting buttons like, Stewie, Dingo and the baby. It just goes on and on.
I'm clueless, but I love it.
Okay, sorry, I'm off track.
No, that's great.
I'm off track here.
What have you been listening to this week? Or you still just been working?
Dude, that's all I've done is like this week I've mixed a country rock EP. I've mixed I guess I could call it R&B type track.
Mm-hmm.
I'm mixing a Tool type track today. I have some metal coming up. I have some more country.
Are these all Canadian artists?
Yeah, most of them, yeah. There's one
Nice.
band from Austin.
Wow, so you're doing quite a bit of stuff. That's great.
Yeah, no, I don't know what's going on. Like when I lived in Vancouver, I had to hustle, to keep working.
I'm thinking it's the rabbit's foot, dude. You're putting it out into the universe.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I just like, I'm like, why is everyone asking me to do this right now? I'm a kept man. I don't want to work. Fuck.
Yeah.
My wife is like, where's all this money you're making? I'm like, well, I haven't been paid yet.
Right. It's all billing
Yeah.
on like a 90-day cycle or something.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Jason.
Jason,
Hey, how's it going?
how are you? Bruce
Doing
Moore, my partner, Chris.
I'm Chris.
How you guys doing?
Good.
Good. How are you?
Fantastic.
Where you at today? You on the road?
No, I got home about a week ago.
Oh, okay. So was it a long run or just a short run?
About 7 weeks.
Oh, that's a long run. How do you recover after that? That's got to be rough, right?
It's not too bad. Actually, for Ted, it's the last 2 years we've gotten shorter tours. So it's they used to be about 2.5 months straight.
Oh,
Now
wow.
they're starting to slow down.
Wow.
Nice. Is it bus or flying?
Bus.
Oh, okay. I guess 7 weeks is still long, though, out on bus.
Yeah, it's not too bad. You get used to it.
All right. So the biggest question I have, and we were just chatting about it a minute ago before we got you. What's it like touring with Uncle Ted?
It's absolutely phenomenal, and it actually overseeded my expectations. Coming into the gig, and I've been with Ted now for 4 years, and I can't say enough great things about the man, and as a person and also as a musician, being able to share the stage with such a iconic rock legend is every night is just phenomenal. And the best part about the gig is really it's super old school. So we're not playing to a click, we're not playing to backing tracks, unlike a lot of artists nowadays. So a lot of it's improvised. Every night's different. You could see us 1,000 times on this on a tour, and every night's going to be different.
Oh, that's really cool.
That's the way it's supposed to be, I think. I mean, it's way more organic and intimate.
Absolutely.
It's an actual band.
Exactly.
I guess that does leave more room for error, though, right?
Well, it's again, Ted expects a certain level of musicianship in his bands, so it's one of those things that he'll give us, say 30 songs to learn before a tour, and we're expected to know all those. But even so, he's gone on stage and pulled out a song we hadn't played in 2 years.
Right.
So he expects a certain level of musicianship in his camp.
Have you ever been so shocked that you're like, oh no, I don't know this track?
Well, there was a show this year on the road. I think we were in Buffalo or something, and we were walking on stage, and Ted goes, "All right, we're going to do Love Grenade tonight." Like I never even heard that song before. And he's just like, watch me. Well, it'll be fine. Okay.
Nice.
And our bass player hadn't played it with Ted in over 10 years.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
That's funny. How did it go?
Oh, it sounded great.
That's the only thing that matters. So I know you've probably answered this 100 times, and I try not to ask the same questions, or Chris and I both, but we were just doing some research on you. How does somebody your age and, get hooked up with a legend like Ted Nugent?
Well, it was kind of a long series of events. And it's a really, really, really long story, but, kind of in a nutshell, I was touring with a band called Pistol Day Parade in 2012, 2013, 2014. And we released the debut album in 2013. And I can brag about how great the record was because I didn't write any of the songs, but songs were absolutely phenomenal. And, it was active rocks type thing. And, our managers, in 2014 were like, all right, we're going to drop our lead single, this summer. You guys got to find a tour opening with, a national act. So we ended up getting a tour for 2.5 months with Ted.
Oh, cool.
Gotcha.
And, during that tour, the single was just climbing. It was, just extremely shooting up. And honestly, the album was getting compared to Fleetwood Mac by rumors in the terms that, oh my God, Rumors by Fleetwood Mac, not the other way around. But
I was with you.
In terms of that, every song was going to be a single on the record, which is, just crazy. But unfortunately, after that tour, many different circumstances, the band, a couple members decided they did not like touring. And the song was number 19 on the charts at the time. So, it's crazy because it wasn't like it was not working. It was working. And, we were even projected to be number one by the end of 2014. And we even it was a co-headlining tour right after, a couple months after the Nugent with Buck Cherry. And that ended up having to be canceled because of the whole thing.
Oh, man.
So anyways.
Bummer.
After that, I was looking around for, work for the next year, and I sent a bunch of emails out to some industry folks, and one being Doc McGee and Doug Banker, who's, Ted's manager. And they both kind of separately at the same time kind of came at me and was like, well, can you do a Ted Nugent set? Like, absolutely. So Ted called me like 2 days later and talked on the phone for about an hour about Detroit music and, what he's looking for in a drummer and, my influences and all that thing. And flew down to Waco, Texas about a week later and sat in a sweaty, small, little teeny rehearsal room with Ted and the bass player. And I've been in the band ever since.
Nice. That's pretty wild.
That's great. Does Ted play really loud?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you stand in front of his amp, it's like standing in front of a jet engine.
That's funny.
Nice.
Now, I have a geeky question for you. What kind of drums are you playing?
It's not a geeky for me because I'm what you call a drum hoarder. So it's totally up my alley. I've played Pearl drums my entire life, and I've been very fortunate to have been endorsed by Pearl since I was 10 years old.
Oh,
so
wow.
Those guys have always been great to me, and every 2 years I switch up the series of Pearl drums that I'm playing. This year I was using a custom kit for the last 2 years actually, that Pearl built for me in Nashville. And I'm one of those guys that I'm super, super geeky about my gear and things like that. But this year my secret weapon was actually a vintage 70s Pearl chrome over brass snare drum.
Oh my God, I love that snare.
Which for those that know, that's the underscore nickname is the Stewart Copeland snare drum because he used it on every single Police record, even though that he was a Tama artist. So I've got 38 snare drums and 16 drum sets. So every year I'm kind of like, what am I going to take out this time? I've been wanting to take out this vintage snare for years because it's been kind of what I've always used in the studio and, at home, and just one of my favorites. And I took it out this year, did some, couple modern modifications to it. And, I've never had so much positive feedback about a drum in my life. Like, just people that aren't even drummers commenting like, "Oh my God, that snare drum was the best sounding snare drum I've ever heard."
Oh yeah. And it's loud.
Oh yeah, it's loud. It's, and I'm using this 14.5 version, so
Yeah.
it's a shallow drum, but you're getting the crack out of it, but the body is just insane.
I agree. Yeah, no, I've recorded that drum before. It's freaking amazing. And to be honest with you, my favorite set of drums that I've ever recorded has been a Pearl Master Custom set.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're spectacular drums. Unbelievable. Anyway, sorry not to get too geeky off on the side here, Bruce. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. We're just chatting. We like to keep this as casual as possible. But so I'm looking through your bio. You played with another one of my favorites too, Lynn Turner. What was that like?
Well, it's kind of funny because, Joe has musicians all around the world. So when he's in a certain part of the world, he calls certain musicians to do those gigs. So like,
wow.
I've kind of the last 3 years been his designated Midwest drummer.
Nice.
So anytime he's playing Detroit, Columbus, Chicago, St. Louis, that whole area, I end up doing the shows, and it's great because it's super old school, and we don't rehearse, so it's so off the cuffs, and in the other band, got members that they bring in, Angus Clark from Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and a bunch of other guys, just absolutely phenomenal musicians, so it's definitely fun, and Joe's one of the nicest guys in the world, and one of the best rock vocalists ever. So,
oh man, legend.
Absolutely pleasure to play with him. And I got a funny story. The last tour I did with him, I ended up taking my car so I can take my drums, so I didn't have to use backline gear at these venues, and because it was like Detroit, Chicago, St. Louis, that whole thing. So it's just like, and that way, Joe would just drive with me, and leave more room in the van for everybody else. So we're in Chicago, and we ended up staying the night there, and my gear we left in the venue, just pick it up in the morning, and went down there to get it thrown in my car, and I'm backing up, and I ended up blowing out my back window with a pole that was sticking out of a garbage can.
Oh no.
And Joe and I had to drive 6-7 hours to St. Louis that day. So it was raining. It was cold. So here I am sitting in downtown Chicago, and Lynn Turner's got 2 garbage bags and 2 rolls of duct tape.
Nice.
Duct taping my back window together so we can drive to St. Louis.
That's great.
Awesome.
One of the funniest things that's ever happened on the road, to be honest with you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Chris?
No, I see. Also, you on your wiki page, there's a lot of support acts that you list there, and one really caught my eye: Theory of a Dead Man, because they're from my hometown, Vancouver, and another one which was Warrior Soul. Now, how many dates did you do with Warrior Soul, like as a support act? I know.
Let's see, I probably about 10 or 15. This is in 2008, and it was kind of funny because one of my dad's favorite bands of all time is Warrior Soul.
Oh yeah,
always a massive fan. And it was 2008, so I was 13 at the time when we did that run of dates. That's and being my dad was in the music industry, so when I was underage, he would come out with whatever band I was with and act as tour manager.
Oh, you were playing in Warrior Soul?
No.
Okay, I was like, whoa.
No. But so my dad was out there, so he was super geeked, and my dad is a very loud, outgoing person, so him and Corey Clark befriended very, very quick, and now Corey's one of my dad's best friends, and
nice.
He stays at our house when he comes through town and stuff like that. So
I've met Corey a few times. He's quite a character, funny guy.
Absolutely. He's the best.
Yeah, he's great.
All right. So also, but on top of playing drums for Ted and all these, You're involved in record companies, in charities. You're involved in a whole lot of stuff as well as studying at Berklee. How do you keep up with all these pretty massive pursuits?
It's tough. I go 1,000 miles an hour. I've been home for a week and I literally haven't stopped to catch my breath, to be honest with you. But it's kind of great because I'm about done with my bachelor's degree at Berklee College of Music, majoring in music business, and I graduate in May. So it's kind of afforded me the opportunity when I got asked to kind of become a managing partner of a music conglomerate. Because I'm able to utilize all my actual real day-to-day work, with my schoolwork. So I'm not, I'm not a big fan of hypothetical situations.
Yeah.
So it worked out, really, really good that way, that I'm able to, almost do my homework and do my real work at the same time. So
yeah, like your teacher's like, here's a hypothetical situation. And you're like, raise your hand. Excuse me. Can I use a real situation?
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and be honest with you, I luckily Berklee has a very prestigious online program. So, I'm able to still tour and do what I need to do while still pursuing my degree. And, luckily I chose that route because I kind of had to, crossroads of either moving out to Boston for 4 years or, or doing this online approach. Now, luckily I did that because I got the call for Ted Nugent 2 weeks later.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Man.
That's great. Yeah. Where are you located now?
Still Detroit, but I spend my time a lot between Nashville and Detroit. So it's, kind of, I'm living in both places right now.
Yeah. I see on the wiki page too, it says you were in Toronto recording. What studio were you up there in? Metalworks?
I don't even know. It was years ago.
Doesn't matter.
I think that was 2007. I don't even know.
It doesn't matter. I'm just a
like,
geek, so I always want to know.
Guana or something. I think it was like Guana, something like that. I don't know. It was years ago.
Not a huge deal.
So if you were out on the road and playing with these bands at 10 and 13, when did you actually pick up the sticks?
Well, I pretty much started playing when I was 6 months old. My dad would sit me on his lap and, just start banging away. And then by the time I could crawl and walk on my own, I would, jump on his drum set and start playing. And then by the time I was 3 or 4, when I could actually sit by myself, touch the pedals and all that, play the kit, my dad would bring over some of his buddies and jam with me. And, but I played my first gig when I was 5 years old, doing all covers.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I mean, most kids are in the sandbox, picking their nose at 5 and you're jamming right. That's pretty amazing.
I know what I was doing at 5. It wasn't playing drums. Yeah, it's awesome.
All right. So I've got a couple questions that kind of have nothing to do with this, but give the fans a chance to get to know you a little bit better if you're down. Assuming you were stranded on a deserted island and you've got like a solar powered CD player or whatever, what 3 records would you take with you for the rest of your life?
Ooh, Quadrophenia by The Who, Toto 4 by Toto, and Ghost in the Machine by The Police.
Nice.
Nice.
Very nice. Let's see. So everybody's got like kind of an aha moment, the first record they bought with their own money. I think, at least I do, and most people I talk to. Do you remember what the first record you bought with your own money was?
No idea.
He's probably too young to know records.
Yeah, I
he grew up with the internet.
I guess.
Not really though.
No?
No, because I was born in 94, so I was still that we had the internet, but I still remember pre-Napster in a way. So I was still a CD kid, but my dad's 3 favorite bands were so at least what I was growing up listening to was Sweet, T-Rex, and Kiss, and so that was kind of the introduction. But I can tell you the first concert that I ever asked my parents to take me to.
Sure.
It's kind of funny how things work out. It was Alice Cooper in 2001 on the Dragon Town tour, and I was a massive Eric Singer fan, and so I went to the gig, and it was just amazing. Now, fast forward, Eric Singer has become a very dear friend of mine, and now the bass player for Alice Cooper at that time is now my bass player with Ted Nugent.
Oh, cool.
Wow. So I'm a very big Eric Singer fan too, because Badlands was probably one of my favorite bands growing up. Loved that band.
Yeah, Eric's been a really, really positive, influence and mentor of mine since I think I met him when I was 8. And,
that's nice.
He's just definitely been a, positive influence. And, I talk to him all the time, and he's a insane vintage Pearl drum collector as well. So,
that's awesome.
He'll send me something when rare that comes on for sale, and I'm just like, why are you sending me this?
Nice.
Yeah, check this out. You want this? Have you seen my garage? I have no more room, man.
Chris, you got anything else?
I don't know. This conversation's been great. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate the time.
Jason, I want to thank you for doing this. I appreciate it. I know you're busy.
Yeah, I appreciate the time. It's always fun.
Awesome talking with you, man.
Be well. Good luck with all your endeavors, and hopefully we'll see you when you come to town one day.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Be well, brother.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Really good guy.
What a story touring at 10 and playing with some massive players.
Imagine being 24 and going on the road with like
a legend.
A legend, yeah.
Actually, 2 legends. Joe Lynn Turner from Rainbow is amazing. So
yeah. Oh no, it's crazy.
Well, cool, man. Thanks for listening, and keep it metal.
Always metal. Dingo and the baby.